Hey guys, welcome to NAB2025. My name is Dave and I'm with Q Support, and today we're joined by Darren from Blackmagic Design. We're going to talk about one of the new products called the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO G2. So Darren.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, so we've got the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO G2 here. It's the next generation of ATEM Mini Extreme that a lot of you may be familiar with already. But with this one, we've updated the design and added a bunch of new features into this one that's going to make it much better for lots of different applications. So first and foremost, we've updated the button design on here. So we've taken the really high quality buttons from our ATEM Advanced panels and introduced them to our ATEM Mini Extreme here. It's an 8 input switcher, so it's 8 HDMI inputs into this, and you have the button selection across the bottom here. You've got a preview selection rail as well, so we can also have program and preview selection directly on this, which is a little bit different to the previous generation of ATEM Mini Extreme. We've also introduced the fader button here as well. So now we've got tactile control for transitions between two different sources. We can do that directly on the panel itself, as opposed to using software or using the auto transition button. As well as the 8 HDMI inputs, we've also got a Thunderbolt 3 interface as well, and that's going to allow us to bring in key and fill from an external source like DaVinci Resolve Replay, and we can bring that straight in to the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO without the need for an I/O device like an Ultra Studio for Resolve. So it's a really useful way to come straight from Resolve and come into the ATEM for replay functionality. In terms of additions to this panel, we've also got for the 3 HDMI outputs that we have dedicated output buttons for these, so we can choose what we want to send to those specific sources, or which source we want to send to those specific outputs. We have buttons dedicated to multi-view, we have a button dedicated for the new Fairlight audio interface, and simply for specific sources. But if we jump back to the Fairlight audio interface there, what you're getting here is a full Fairlight audio interface, very similar to what you would see on the ATEM television studio on the LCDs, but rather than having LCDs on this panel, which would increase the cost significantly, we've added a video output with that dedicated audio interface here. What we then have on the panel are dials that correlate to the respective bottom layer of the Fairlight audio interface. So as we go between level, EQ, compressor, gate, the bottom layer here will change, and then the dials underneath will correlate to the respective options that we have within there, and we can make changes and see those changes across the interface on a large format display, for example. If we jump back to the back of the unit, we can see as well, we also have a CFExpress slot. This is an ISO switcher after all. So what that means is all of our sources can be captured to a CFExpress card. They can be offloaded super quick because we have a 10G Ethernet connection as well, so we can pull off that media and pull that down really quickly. We've also got a 1 gig Ethernet connection as well, and that means that can interface with the ATEM software control, for example. And we do still retain 2 USB ports there as well, which means we can have an external drive, such as an SSD, or we can utilize the secondary USB for a webcam. The final thing I do want to mention is we touched upon the Fairlight audio interface there. We've got brand new audio connections on this particular switcher. We've got 2 XLR line mic inputs there, and extensive audio coming in through the MADI input as well. So again, jumping back to this, you can see all the channels of audio we have now available to us. It means that this is a really extensive tool set for people working in live production environments that need comprehensive video and audio connectivity. This really is an amazing next generation of ATEM Mini Extreme.
Yeah, maybe to ask a question. So you showed us again, show us the image again on the input. Yeah, so we got now full-fledged XLR inputs instead of the small mini jack ones on the previous model. So that's a huge upgrade, I would say. And also I saw on the buttons you said we have 8 inputs, but there is a 9th and a 10th button over here.
Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, so I mentioned as well, we've got the Thunderbolt interface there, which can bring in the key and fill. That means those sources are then accessible there as well, so we can see those on that side of the panel.
Okay, perfect. So Darren was more than helpful to walk us through the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO G2. And now he's helping us to have a better look at the new HyperDeck Shuttle 4K Pro.
Yeah, let's do it. So we've got the new HyperDeck Shuttle 4K Pro here. You may be familiar with the older HyperDeck Shuttle HD, and you've got the similar kind of form factor on the right-hand side here. But what we have added with this one is a fantastic 7-inch display here. So again, you might be familiar with the video assist, and it uses the same operating system as that one, and it's a really beautiful display here where you can get into the menus of the HyperDeck and start making all of the settings adjustments there. Also, you've got a fantastic confidence monitor there as well, so you can see the clips as you're recording them or as you're playing them back. So if we spin this around and take a look at the back, what you've got here is an expansion upon what we had on the HyperDeck Shuttle HD, because here we've added SDI connectivity as well as the HDMI connectivity as well. So it's 12G SDI, works in 4K. We've got a 12G SDI input and loop through, and then we've got a couple of outputs there as well, which means we can do key and fill output from this as well if we have graphics with alpha channels where we need that. We've also added the benefit of having a RS422 remote connection. So this now works just like a traditional deck would. If you need deck control, you can control this from a deck controller. And you've also got the SD card slot like you have in the old one, and the USB-C output for expanding out to a SSD drive, for example. But when you do take a look at this, with the display in action as well and the menu in there, it's just a much more user-friendly experience. You can see everything from here. We can play back clips that are ProRes, they're DNX. We've still got the teleprompter capability in here as well, so if we can load in a teleprompter script, we can have that loaded in. We would see it on here and play it out to the display as well. So it's a much more comprehensive tool set for this one. Lots more features packed into it compared to the smaller HyperDeck Shuttle HD, and just having that added display there is a real benefit for users as they're working with this particular deck.
Yeah, and there were 2 models, if I understand correctly.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what we've done with this is the 2 models that are available. We have one that's available with 2 terabytes of storage included. So that's an M2 drive that we have. There's a slot in the bottom that we can put that into. So that will give you 2 terabytes of storage. And then we have an option where you can buy it without the storage, so you can add that in later, or if you don't want to have that storage, you can do that as well. So there's 2 available models with different prices.
Basically the same model, but one has a built-in M2 and one has
Exactly, that's the only difference, is one has built-in storage and one doesn't.
Perfect, and I saw that it also has a clip viewer, if I'm correct, right?
That's right, yeah. So what we can do here, we've got the ability to, we're looking at this particular clip here. If I press this on just here, we can then go out into individual clips, so we can see thumbnails of the clips as they are. So we can very quickly look through, find the clip that we want, look at the thumbnail and choose it and then play it out.
Yes,
so
perfect.
Again, something that was a little bit more difficult with the older model, because you didn't have a view, you'd have to just click forward and click back and see that from here. But yeah, with this one, you have the ability to kind of do that and go to individual clips and work with those as you need to.
Okay, perfect. Well, guys, I think it's a very new addition to the lineup of HyperDeck. So, yeah, thank you. So one of the new releases on the NAB as well was this new ATEM control panel for cameras. Darren, can you
Yeah, so we've got the new ATEM micro camera control panel. This looks very familiar if you've seen the larger ATEM camera control panels, which is a 4-bay system. But this one, however, is a wireless Bluetooth enabled single camera control panel here. So with this, we can connect to our ATEM software control, and then this will interface with that, and we can do all of the camera control directly from this panel here. So we can do iris adjustment, we can do pedestal adjustment, full RGB value control. And the great thing about this one is we've added these 8 buttons down the side. So this will show us which camera is currently live on air, which is on preview. We can select a different camera as well, and we can start to control that. And you've got really clear indicators of exactly which camera you're controlling at that point in time. You can see the iris and pedestal levels, your shutter is shown on there as well, your gain levels, and any ND filters you have enabled as well. So in terms of a portable solution for customers who are working maybe in mobile setups where they need something that's small footprint, light, easy to carry around and easy to connect to a system, this is a perfect addition. Rather than using just a software interface, you've got a tactile interface here for much more finite control for things when you want to be really, really super accurate with any of the adjustments that you want to make there. As I mentioned, it's Bluetooth enabled, it's battery powered as well, so we can turn the battery on and off to conserve power as well, and you'll get a few hours of battery life with that when you're using that as well. So a great addition to any mobile setup that perhaps you might have.
Okay, well, Darren, then I think we can conclude it for today for the new unveilments at the NAB for Blackmagic. Darren, may I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate that. Thanks for coming down.
And guys, I would say stay tuned, and we'll keep you updated on the next cool stuff that's around. Thank you.